If you visit the Netherlands, you will likely notice something special very quickly. The people are incredibly tall. The Dutch stand taller than almost any other group of people in the world today. This is a surprising fact, especially when we look back in history. Only about 150 years ago, the situation was completely different. The Dutch were not tall. In fact, they were known for being quite short, shorter than many other people in Europe, including people living in the United States at that time. But over just 150 years, something truly remarkable happened. The average height of the Dutch population increased dramatically. They grew by around 20 centimeters on average. This change is one of the fastest and biggest examples of human height change ever seen in history. Now, they are much taller than people in the United States and other countries. They have become the world's tallest nation. This rapid and significant change raises a central question. How did a nation that was once quite short become the tallest nation on Earth in such a short period? Experts believe this did not happen because of just one reason. Instead, it was likely a combination of many different factors. These factors probably include the environment where the Dutch live, such as the food they eat and their living conditions. It may also involve their genetic makeup, although changes in genes usually take a very long time. Their way of life, their culture and society also likely played an important role. This book will explore these different factors. We will look at how the environment, genetics, and culture might have worked together to help the Dutch people grow so tall so quickly. We will try to understand this unique story of how a nation literally rose above the rest of the world. It shows how powerful the right conditions can be for human growth and development. 2. From short to tall. The story of Dutch height has a big surprise. In the middle of the 1800s, the Dutch were not tall people. They were quite short compared to many other people in Europe. In fact, they were among the shortest populations on the continent at that time. We know this from old information, like records kept about soldiers joining the army in the 1800s. Around the year 1860, the average height for Dutch men was only about 165 centimeters. That is about 5 feet and 5 inches. This was especially surprising because people in other countries were taller. For example, people in America at that same time were already taller than the Dutch. American men were taller by about 5 centimeters on average. In those years, Americans were actually known as the tallest people in the world. So, the situation was the opposite of what we see today, where the Dutch stand much taller than Americans. How did this dramatic change happen? The Dutch did not grow taller overnight. It was a process over many years. But since the 1860s, Dutch men have grown in height by an amazing amount. In about 150 years, their average height went up by a full 20 centimeters. This is a huge and very fast increase for a whole country of people. To compare, American men also grew taller in this time, but their height went up by only about 6 centimeters. The difference in growth is very clear. This speed of change is very important. Scientists who study people's growth say that growing 20 centimeters in just 150 years is much too fast for it to be simply because of genes. Genes are tiny parts inside us that carry information from our parents and influence how tall we can become. Changes in our genes usually happen very, very slowly, over many, many generations, thousands of years. Because the Dutch grew so quickly, scientists believed that changes in their environment were the main reason. The environment includes things like the quality of food people ate, access to good health care, clean living conditions, and social support. These changes in their world seem to explain why the Dutch were able to grow so much taller so quickly, going from being one of the shortest groups to the tallest group on Earth. The next chapters will look at what some of these environmental changes were. 3. Milk and cheese. The Dutch people really love milk and cheese. People think this is a main reason why they became so tall over time. Dairy food like milk and cheese has a lot of calcium. Calcium is very important for your bones. It helps your bones grow strong and long, especially when you are a child and teenager. A scientist named Professor Louise Barrett, who studies how people grow, says calcium helps bones develop well. The land in the Netherlands is special because of its history. For hundreds of years, the Dutch worked hard to build walls, called dikes, and use windmills to take land back from the sea. This created new land, but it was often low and wet. The soil in this new land was not always good for planting many types of food like vegetables or grains that need dry, rich soil. However, this low, wet land was perfect for growing thick, green grass, and cows eat grass to make milk. Because the land was so good for grass and cows, Dutch farmers started to have many, many cows. This helped the dairy business grow very big in the Netherlands. Dutch farms became famous for having large numbers of cows. One type of cow became known around the world, the Friesian cow, easy to spot with its black and white patches. These cows are very good at producing a lot of milk. The dairy farms produced huge amounts of milk, more than people could drink right away. So they used the extra milk to make cheese. Making cheese helped keep the milk good for a long time. Cities like Gouda and Edam became famous for making big, round cheeses that were sold everywhere. With so much milk and cheese being made in the country, these foods became a very big and important part of what Dutch families ate every day. Milk was easy to find and often cheaper than other types of food. Children drank milk with meals and snacks. Families ate cheese on bread for breakfast or lunch. They used cheese in many dishes. Eating so much milk and cheese gave Dutch children a lot of calcium, protein, and other important things their bodies needed. These nutrients are like building blocks that help bodies grow well. So the Dutch people's daily diet full of dairy products like milk and cheese gave them the right food to grow taller and stronger. The special history of their land, which became good for grass and cows, helped the dairy industry grow huge. This meant milk and cheese were always available and were a main part of the Dutch diet. This strong connection between Dutch food habits and dairy products is a big reason for their impressive height. It shows clearly how eating the right foods during childhood can really change how tall people grow. The food was easy to get, and it provided the good things needed for growth. This simple food story is key to understanding the Dutch height miracle. 4. Rich country, tall people. Being a rich country helped the Dutch become tall. When people have more money, they can buy better food. Good food gives the body what it needs to grow strong and tall. This is one important reason. Also, a rich country can have great health care for everyone. Doctors and hospitals help people stay healthy. They stop sicknesses that can make children stop growing. The Netherlands put money into this, which was good for health and for height. Life in a country with money is often less hard. When people are not stressed about finding food or a safe place to live, their bodies can use energy for growing, not just for staying alive. A safe and stable country helps children grow well. Importantly, the money in the Netherlands was not just for a few rich people. It was shared more fairly than in many other places. This meant that many families had enough money for good food and could use the good health care. Because many people had these benefits, the whole country grew taller together. So the country's wealth created a healthy environment. Better food, good health care, and less stress all worked together. This environment made it possible for the Dutch people to reach their full height, adding another big piece to the puzzle of why they became the tallest in the world. 5. Is it in their genes? People often ask if being tall is just about genes. Maybe the Dutch have special genes that make them tall? This chapter looks at that idea. One idea is called natural selection. This is a slow process. It means that people with certain qualities have more children. If these children get the same qualities, these qualities become more common in the group over many years. Could this happen with height in the Netherlands? Some scientists studied many Dutch people born a long time ago. They looked at how tall the people were and how many children they had. The study found something interesting. Taller men, on average, had slightly more children than shorter men. It was not a big difference, but it was there. So the idea was that maybe, over time, the genes that help people be tall became more common because taller men had more babies. This sounds like a possible reason. If taller men had more chances to pass on their tall genes, then the next generation could be a little taller. If this happened again and again, maybe it could help explain the big increase in height. However, other scientists looked carefully at this study and the numbers. They said that this natural selection effect was very, very small. They calculated that this genetic change could only make the Dutch people taller by a tiny amount over 150 years. It was not enough to explain the huge growth that happened. So, what does this mean? It means that genes are important for how tall one person can be. Everyone has genes from their parents, and these genes help decide their possible height. But the quick and large increase in height for the whole Dutch nation in just about 150 years was too fast for genes alone to do. It shows that while genes give a plan for growth, the environment plays a much bigger role in how much people actually grow, especially over shorter times. Genes helped make tall people possible, but they were not the main reason why the Dutch became the world's tallest nation so quickly. Environmental factors were much more powerful. 6. A good place to grow. Think of it like having all the right pieces in place for a plant to grow tall and strong. The Netherlands created an environment where children had everything they needed to reach their full height. It was a combination of many helpful things working together. A key part was the excellent healthcare system. This system focused a lot on children's health. Regular checkups and early care meant that if a child was sick, they got help fast. Importantly, the Dutch were very successful in giving children vaccinations. These shots protected children from serious illnesses that could weaken them or stop their growth. When a child's body doesn't have to fight sickness constantly, it has more energy to grow. Food also played a big role. We know dairy was important, but the Dutch diet overall was good. Children had access to healthy foods. Many schools provided good lunches, and families were often taught about healthy eating. This provided the essential building blocks, proteins, vitamins, calcium, that growing bodies need to add centimeters. The lifestyle encouraged physical activity. Cycling is not just for fun, it's a way of life. Children cycle everywhere. This daily exercise helped their bodies grow stronger and supported bone development. Moving the body regularly is vital for growth. Life for families often had lower stress levels compared to some other places. Good social support systems meant parents felt more secure. A safe, happy, and less stressful environment helps a child's body develop normally without stress stopping growth. Also, public health efforts effectively controlled diseases that had previously harmed children's growth. By making sure children were healthy and not suffering from constant or severe infections, the country removed big barriers to growing tall. All these factors, top health care, good nutrition, lots of exercise, a stable and less stressful life, and protection from serious diseases, created a very good place for growing up. This powerful mix of environmental benefits, helped explain why the Dutch population saw such a remarkable increase in height over time. It showed how much a positive environment can help people reach their maximum potential, in this case, their maximum height. 7. Are they getting shorter now? For many years, the Dutch people grew taller and taller. They became the tallest in the world. But now, things might be changing. Some recent information shows that the height of Dutch people could be stopping or even getting a little shorter. Numbers show that people born in the early 2000s are a little shorter than people born in the 1980s. For example, men born in 2001 were about 1 centimeter shorter than men born around 1980. This is a small change, but it is new after a long time of growing taller. Why is this happening? Experts think there are a few reasons. One reason could be about people moving to the Netherlands. Many people from other countries, where people are usually not as tall, have come to live in the Netherlands. This can make the average height for the whole country go down a little. Another possible reason is changes in food. Maybe Dutch people are eating less of the healthy foods that helped them grow tall before, like dairy products. They might be eating more processed foods instead. These foods might not have as many good things for growing bones and bodies. Also, some people think there is a limit to how tall humans can get. Maybe the Dutch people have reached this limit. There might be biological reasons why it is hard for people to get much taller than they are now. Being very tall can also have some problems, like with health. So after many years of growing, the Dutch might be reaching a new time. Their height might stay the same, or maybe even go down just a little bit. Scientists are still studying this to understand exactly why it is happening. 8. What we learn from the Dutch. The story of the Dutch people becoming the world's tallest is very interesting. Not so long ago, in the 1800s, they were quite short, even shorter than Americans. But in about 150 years, this changed greatly. Their average height grew by many centimeters. This big change did not happen because their genes changed quickly. It happened because of the good things in their lives and environment. Many factors worked together to help them grow taller. Good food was very important. The Dutch people traditionally ate a lot of dairy products, like milk and cheese, rich in calcium. Their land was perfect for cows, helping the dairy industry grow. This gave them the right nutrition, especially for bones, to grow tall. Also, the Netherlands became a wealthy country. More money meant families could afford better, more varied food, and live in healthier homes. Healthcare was another key reason. The Netherlands built a very good health system that was available to most people. Children could see doctors and nurses easily for checkups and when they were sick. They got care that prevented and stopped sicknesses that could slow down growth. Being healthy as a child allows the body to use energy for growing strong and tall. A stable and safe country also means less stress, which is good for children's development. This story shows us something very important for everyone. It shows that the environment around you can greatly change your body and health. It shows that good living conditions and care can help people reach their full potential height and health. It is a clear example of how much things like access to good food, enough money, and quality health care matter for human development. So, other countries around the world can learn valuable lessons from the Dutch experience. If a country wants its people to be healthy and grow well, it should focus on improving these main areas. It should make sure all children have access to good food to eat, providing the needed nutrition. It should build strong healthcare systems that reach everyone, preventing sickness from an early age. It should work to make society stable, clean, and fair. Doing these things can help people everywhere grow taller and have better, healthier lives. The Dutch are now known as a very tall nation. Their journey from being short to tall in a relatively short time is a strong example of what a country can achieve for its people's well-being. It shows the power of a nation to create good conditions for health and growth across its population. The story of the Dutch giants is a big lesson for the world about the importance of environment for human health and growth. What is one thing you think helps people in your country grow healthy and strong?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.